Whatever, that sucked. Hi, friends. How are you? How's things? How's life? How's your world? That stuff. Jonathan asked a question. Jonathan asked a bunch of really good questions. So thank you, Jonathan, for asking really good questions. I love answering questions. I also thought it was a good question because it's very kind of pertinent to a discussion that has been happening in the bass world lately. That is, I guess somebody had posted on a forum or on a Facebook or something, that it was impossible to teach improvisation. And Jonathan asked, I'm trying to find his question. At some point, somewhere, Jonathan asked if I had been working on soloing on the songs that I'm learning, which is improvisation, right? But basically, somebody suggested that it's impossible to teach improvisation, and then there's been some pushback. And one of the people who have pushed back against that assertion is my bass teacher, Kyle. Kyle absolutely disagrees. He says that he has learned how to teach improvisation, and he has taught improvisation. And so when Jonathan asked the question, it's a really good question because, like, you know what? Yeah, Kyle's teaching me to solo. And Kyle has done a very good job of teaching me improvisation. And I think it's an interesting discussion because I guess, like, if you teach somebody an improvisation, they're not improving, they're just parroting. Like that's not improvisation. And I guess you could make an argument that says that in order to learn improvisation, you're the only person who can teach yourself how to improv. And that's kind of true. But I can tell you, I tried a lot when I first started playing this instrument. When I first started taking lessons, I sat down a lot and just picked scales. Like, let's take a C major scale. And I would just play with it. I would just... and just make up melodies and just mess around. And some of those things kind of stuck with me. I wrote them down because I was like, maybe this is a song someday. But all of that work, like especially on... all of that kind of stuff didn't really help me improv. I could also argue that all of the work that I did with the jazz stuff was improv. Not necessarily on the spot improv sometimes because I was just goofing around and trying new things. But those bass lines, I wrote those bass lines myself without really sitting down and thinking about it. I just played. And so that was a version of improv. But Kyle has taught me improv in a way that I think it's maybe the only way to teach improv. Because, if you're being very pedantic, yes, teaching an improvisation makes the lesson, you're not learning an improv, you're learning a line, and that's wrong. But that's not what Kyle does. And here's the thing, I've thought about this a lot in relation to meditation. I meditate almost daily. I have for years. And meditation is something that only you can do. Like nobody can hold your hand and guide you through it. But a meditation teacher, a meditation instructor can give you foundations to help your understanding of how to meditate. And then you develop your own meditation based on that, based on what you understand. And the way that Kyle has taught me improvisation, or specifically soloing, is the same thing. It is setting up ideas. It is building a foundation of ideas. And it started very simply. One of the things Kyle had me do was learn the melody line to Blue Bossa. So you've got... my terrible muting aside, that was step one. And I know that's not improving. That's just learning a melody, and that's true. But what Kyle then did we sat down and he said, okay, now you're gonna put the loop on, and you're gonna play the melody, but play it wrong. Take notes out, add notes in, change rhythms, hold notes, cut notes short. Just play the melody, but play it wrong. But keep up with it, you know? So you might go something like, no, that's not correct. Whoops. Play it wrong. Do something goofy. That's step one. Step one is like take something that you know and do it different. And then just this week, so we had a lesson on Monday, and as part of that lesson, we've been learning, he's been using Blue Bossa, which is the melody I just played, as the framework for learning this improvisation stuff. And he said, I just want you to take those first 4 measures, and it goes from a C to F. Loop those. Stay in that C minor 7 framework, which is slightly different from the that's not part of that C minor. That is stay within C minor, but play the chords between the C minor and the F. Just play the F Dorian or Mixolydian or whatever stupid mode it is inside of the C minor, and just play stuff. And his method in the past has been, we're going to turn on the backing track, he'll play 4 bars, then I'll play 4 bars or 8 bars or whatever. He'll say, I'll go first, and then he'll play something. And I'm not copying him, but it gives me something to think about while I'm sticking fingers down and doing something. And this Monday, we did this. He played some stuff, and then he said, all right, now you take a turn. And I turned the backing track on, and I started playing, and it just worked. Like, stuff just happened. It was the first time that I felt not embarrassed by it. I felt like I didn't do great. Like, it was out of time. The rhythm wasn't great, and some of the phrasing was awkward. But the whole part was like, oh, I just did it. Like, I just improv'd 8 bars of a tune on the spot, and it wasn't based on anything Kyle played. Maybe I heard some of his phrasing, and I duplicated the rhythms, but I used different notes or something. Sure, that's going to happen, but for the most part, I just played whatever felt right in that moment, and it worked really well. And that was something I could not do a month ago. Kyle would ask me to solo a month ago, and it was just a complete disaster. It would just fall apart. I just had no concept. And so I can confidently say that Kyle has taught me how to improvise. I think that I'm still I'm at infant stage. Like I haven't even made it to kindergarten on improvising yet, and I think there's tons of room for that. And I'm sure that he'll continue working with me on that. But I thought it was an interesting question with interesting timing, because Jonathan asked that question, I think, on like Friday or something. And then this lesson on Monday was, let's try to solo this and just play what feels right. Just stay in that C minor and go for it. And it worked really, really well. And it was really fun. And at the end of it, Kyle was praising me. Like, he was giving me a lot of like, dude, that was awesome. You had some great phrasing in there. I still, I felt a little bit awkward by it, but it, I also felt pride, because some people think you can't teach it, but I fully believe that without Kyle's guidance, I would still be just a bumbling idiot anytime somebody asked me to solo something. Still not something I'm going to jump up on stage and do anytime soon, but I could. I think Kyle has gotten me to a place where I could. Now it's just a matter of working it. His goal for next week is I'm going to play through this song 6 times. The first 2 times playing the melody, the second 2 times playing the bass line, and the third time, or the last 2 times, just improving, just soloing. And I'm kind of looking forward to it, you know. I don't feel as embarrassed by my improvisations. So thank you for the question, Jonathan. Yes, I am learning to solo. I have a long way to go, and I think that a lot of it is just learn melodies. Learn melodies because that's the basics, right? That's like use the melody as a basis for trying to figure something out, and that worked really, really well for me. So I think teaching improvisation is more like a guiding. It's not necessarily you can't teach like play this line because that's not improving, but you can say work on this, and you can give somebody the steps to get to the ability to improv, and I think that I am proof of that. I'd like to think so. I don't know. Maybe Kyle's not proud of me, but he sure seems to be. Okay, thank you for the question, Jonathan. Do you guys have questions, thoughts, comments? You should put those down below. I very much appreciate you watching the video. Please like it. Please subscribe if you're new here. We are still growing. Still, I'm shocked. I appreciate you very much, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 10 truths that will change the way you see yourself. Oh. Number 1, you are not what happened to you. You are not your past experiences. You are not your scars. You are not what someone else said about you. You are what you choose to become in this moment. Let go, breathe, and begin again today. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in my life that hold on to what happened to them, and they use that as their personality. And I find that to be very sad because ultimately, I think that growth happens from those moments, but those moments aren't the definition. Those moments are just opportunities to change perspectives and grow.